Hello, I'm Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz, December 15, 2018, 11:23 p.m. Birmingham. And topic, going back to the blog I did a day ago, prophecy. Last time occurred 2,000 years ago. That was the last time there was a live offering in a temple that was standing on holy ground, which was the old city of David in Jerusalem. Was over 2,000 years ago. The next event will be the real thing that marks the middle of the very end days, or the beginning of the final 7 years of the very end days. In the middle of it, it'll be stopped. That's because Satan will stand in the temple and demand to be worshipped. That's when all hell breaks loose. But leading up to that event, a lot of things need to occur. A lot of things. Well, go back a few years. Tom Horn was talking about a CRISPR-Cas9. This is something where you can buy, and I've not heard much about it, but I'm sure they're working on it fairly, as hard as they can, that will change your DNA. Take a animal that can run extremely fast, and I don't mean a horse. I'm talking about a cheetah or a gazelle, these things, they'll run about 50 miles an hour when a cheetah run about 70 miles an hour, so that's why they can catch them. But they can maintain 50 miles an hour for a long time, and the cheetah can't maintain it over about 30 or 40 seconds. So the CRISPR-Cas9 may have a gene or something out of that animal that you can inject in yourself that will actually do something to your body to make you pick up the pace. Tom Horn has been talking about this for a long time. He's talking about it, as well as Steve Quayle, about the AI that's coming, artificial intelligence. They're working on it in all these laboratories around this planet and a lot in this country. One in Birmingham, Alabama. The Southern Research Institute has been doing this. Look, I'll be 70 in May. When I was 16 years old, I was driving my car to the Southern Research Institute into a private gate. I had to have a key to get into it and get their car. They had about 7, and drive it back to where I was working and wash them and deliver the car. I would do 7. Well, over that time, I dated a girl that was working there, and she told me of experiments with monkeys that went on. And when I asked, well, what kind of experiments? She saw something to do with perfume, but she said, I don't want to go into that. She said, it upsets me. They were horrible experiments. So that was going on in 1965, 1964, 1963. Still going on today. So, like Plum Island, where the Montauk monster supposedly escaped from and washed up on beaches in New York, in Boston area, well, they changed the name of Plum Island to a Department of Agriculture. Plum Island, the institute there supposedly has moved to Kansas, somewhere in Kansas. I don't know if you know this, but 4 years ago, that was the plan. So there's a lot of things that needs to occur. In the dress rehearsal for a sacrifice to be given at Passover in Israel, again, dress rehearsal, practice only, nothing more. They had to make people understand this is not a real event. It is just practice event. So no one would get excited. I want to say this about that. When they actually do it and have a live sacrifice, for you and I, we already received the sacrifice. That was Jesus 2,000 years ago. He was the live sacrifice. Due to that, you who believe in him already saved. The Jews are still looking for him. So until he comes, they will offer live sacrifices. They'll offer up whatever they need to God to have their sins forgiven. But all they need to do is look up, say Jesus, and it would be done. But, the old timers, the Orthodox Jews, they still adhere to the 5 books of the Bible. Well, you have a lot of things. You have L.A. Marzulli, and he's talking about the Watchers and the books and the DVDs he's made. I think there's 12 of them now, and unbelievable content of what was happening on this planet in that time period and what's going to happen on this planet in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. That's in the days in the end. The church will leave before these things comes upon this land, because when they do come upon the land, they will come up to destroy people. They will kill a lot of people. They'll kill half of the population. If we have 8 billion people, and that happens, 4 billion people will die in 7 years. So we're talking about tens of thousands or several million per day around the planet will be dying. So there's, again, Tom Horn, there's Steve Quayle. They're talking about all the things that's building right now and that's just can't wait to get out, like under the Antarctica. It's there. The Bible says in Enoch. And the travels carried him, and in the depictions or the things that he said he saw on the way, clearly you're looking at South America, and you're looking at the western side of South America all the way down. You're looking at that. And that's what Enoch is seeing on his way to the Antarctica. And when he gets to Antarctica, he sees the 7 mountains and all that's described. That's where things are, under these 7 mountains. And so for the rapture to occur, nothing has to take place first. A lot of things can occur, but nothing needs to before the church goes. And go back to Mark Taylor and Kim Clements. Kim said in 2007, some say even earlier than that, like 2003, that Donald Trump would be president and all the things that he would do, and he's doing them today. And Mark Taylor said the same thing in 2011, many years before Trump was elected, and they're coming to pass. Just recently, just Friday, if I'm not mistaken, they went before the Supreme Court, 13 states, to try to get in, stop abortion, end abortion. Well, they went about it in a wrong way. The Roe versus Wade will get into the door of the Supreme Court, and it will be heard, but that will be when God is going to be the attorney for the unborn. That's his job. That's what he's going to do. Trump is going to get him in the door, and all he needs to do is appoint one more judge, because they had 3 voted for it. They needed 1 more. So there's a lot of things that's coming, and we do have an open window, free of charge, that all you got to do is just stand there and call upon the Lord, and you'll be saved. But when that window closes, then you may have to pay for salvation with your life. Bible clearly says some of you will be caught, jailed, punished, and tortured, and even beheaded. But God says, hang in there, take it, and I will give you a crown of life. But today it's free. You won't have to go through any of that. So we are at that time, but Israel, they're not ready. There's a lot of things that needs to happen. Ezekiel 38-39 war. It's staged, and it could happen tomorrow. There will be a time between the rapture and the time that the false prophet will endow the Antichrist, empower him to to take charge and be the one who is running the New World Order. He'll be the head of the New World Order. That's what all the liberals are trying to get you to now, today. They're trying to get you to that place. So things are going the way they're supposed to go. The dress rehearsal will probably happen over and over and over. But when the real thing comes, there'll be a temple there. And it could be as simple as the tabernacle of David. Because when the temple comes, that thing on the rock in the place where they think the temple is going on the rock has nothing to do with the temple location. Temple location is not there. It's got to have running water. And that's where the Gihon Springs are located. That water will pour right out of the front door of the temple. Has to have it. So all these things are ready. The Jews know where the temple's going. We don't have to guess at where it's going to be. They know. They know where all the implements are that's going into the temple. We don't have to guess. They know where they are. But I just want to tell you, a lot of things need to occur before that event can happen. And before that real event can happen, there needs to be somebody here that will say, okay, I'm going to give you a peace treaty for 7 years. I've got the power to do it. That's when the events will begin. That's when the live sacrifice will begin. And it'll be cut off at 3.5 years. So we're not there yet, guys. I just want to let you know. But the rapture can happen tonight. Nothing prevents that. And I believe there'll be a time between the rapture and the beginning of the actual 7 years, because when it begins, it's going to be horrible. There'll be chaos for a good while, and that'll have to be calmed down after the church leaves. Once things calm down, and then they'll try to bring an order out of disorder. And that's when the Antichrist will come in. Say, I do, and he'll take charge of most of the planet. Not all, but most. So get yourself cleared and ready to get checked out, and don't be left behind. Because if you do, you're going to be left behind, and a lot of people will die of sheer terror. We'll have to kill them. They'll drop dead. Jody Wolf Expoz.